Meanwhile, as more and more souls incarnated on the earth, more and more energy was called forth from the cosmic rays. More matter was spiritualized, and the area of anchorage extended deeper into the earth. The earth became more and more perfect in form as the people expended more and more love upon matter, and attained more mastery in freeing imprisoned light. Such a high state of harmony was reached by the third root race that when the call went forth for a classroom for the laggards, the earth people responded. The population agreed to receive the laggards, permitting them to come in through the natural gates of birth. Birth in those days was not a physical process, however, but electrical. It was accomplished by the crossing and union of positive and negative light rays projected forth by the chosen parents. This system will again be restored on the planet Earth during the present Aquarian age. The Earth people felt quite confident that the laggards, being born into such an atmosphere of joy and harmony, would quickly adapt themselves to the young and progressive evolutionary procedure on the planet, and forgetting their past would join in developing the divine plan on this globe. The laggards were brought in as souls, but their casual bodies were encased in dense astral bodies of ugly coloration, because they were heavily burdened with karma resulting from their misspent lives on other planets and stars. Their mental bodies were beclouded with self-created thought forms of monstrous appearance, and they were unable to absorb more than a flicker of light from their individualized God nature. Therefore, being virtually helpless, they had to be brought to the earth in spaceships manned by special teachers, and they were then held in a specially prepared astral atmosphere near the earth until each had a chance to be born in a physical body. These physical bodies were not as dense as they are now, but light and quite ethereal, with a high rate of vibration. The people did not walk, but levitated. There was no physical labor or struggle of any kind, no distress, and no disease. The high hopes which the earth people had for the laggards did not manifest. The laggards, once in physical bodies, continued their old ways. They refused to respond to their new harmonious environment. They insisted on using their own free will to create their own monstrous follies. They declined to assist in unfolding the divine plan. Moreover, they polluted and poisoned the radiant atmosphere with their astral emanations. Scorning all cooperative endeavors spiritually, they grew and matured in physical grossness. They mated and produced offspring of their kind. They poisoned their physical bodies with their own misguided emotions and thoughts of hatred. They introduced disease on the planet. They experienced death instead of the glorious ascension back to the source. They lost all contact with their source. They refused to believe in the One. Their vision was so beclouded that they could not see the interaction of the descending rays and the ascending flame. They doomed themselves to long, wearying cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. For a long while, the third root race, host to the laggards, managed to maintain the status quo among themselves. They kept the sacred flames burning brightly upon their altars. They adored the One. They kept green the memory of those paradisical days before the laggards came. But the frightful contamination became worse. The atmosphere around the earth became gloomy and dark. The rays could no longer penetrate to the vegetable and soil. Only the physical sunlight, devoid of the life-giving God essence of the great universal virtues, reached the people. No longer did the earth give forth its natural note of harmony. Its great, vibrant chords were missing from the music of the spheres. No longer did the earth give off light, for the flame had ceased to rise. This, in brief, is the story of the fall of man. Conditions became so hopeless that the hierarchy of this solar system, meeting in conclave 18.5 million years ago, decided to abandon the evolutionary experiment on the Earth and dissolve the planet. But Sanat Kumara, ruler of Venus, asked to be permitted to try to restore harmony on the Earth. His wish was granted, and leaving the planet Venus in charge of Lady Venus, goddess of beauty in this solar system, Sanat Kumara came to the Earth with about 100 helpers and set up headquarters on an island in the Gobi Sea, now the Gobi Desert. This was called the White Island of Shambhala. Sanat Kumara, with all his vast powers as one of the greatest adepts in the galaxy, struggled for 18.5 million years to restore order on the Earth and to save the planet from dissolution. Early in his reign as Lord of the world, he submerged the contaminated continent of Lemuria, home of the third root race, in the area now known as the Pacific Ocean. A remaining seed group of Lemurians settled in Africa and became the ancestors of the present Negro race. Easter Island was sealed against the ravages of time and preserved as a monument to old Lemuria. Also, the melody of an ancient Lemurian song has been passed down to us, and it is still sung today, Auld Lang Syne. Under the direction of Sanat Kumara, a select group started the fourth root race, the Atlans, in an area now covered by the waters of the Atlantic Ocean. But the contamination of the laggards proved too great. Black magicians reigned in high places, and the practice of black magic became widespread throughout the populace. Finally, Sanat Kumara was forced to order the submerging of Atlantis. Remnants of the population scattered and formed the present Chinese and Japanese races, among others. The scriptures carry a partial account of this great deluge, together with the significant statement that the world, or worldliness as introduced by the laggards in the form of gross materialism, leading to black magic, would again be destroyed, but by fire from heaven rather than water. This is the violet fire of the seventh cosmic ray, which is the ray that white magicians use to transmute black magic. It is now in manifestation and will energize the planet for the next 2,000 years of the Aquarian Age. These, then, are the latter days. This brings the history of humanity to the present fifth root race, and to its present turning point as the sixth root race is being formed under the direction of the Christ forces, assisted by thousands of adepts drawn from all parts of our galaxy. These visitors we have come to know as space people. Now is the time when the final cleansing is to take place on the Earth's surface, within the interior of the planet, which has also become contaminated, and in the dense astral atmosphere of the Earth, which now extends 10,000 feet above the surface of the globe. It is in this astral area around the Earth that all of the contamination has accumulated from the emotional emanations given off by individuals through the ages, and where hover the frightful thought forms thrown off by the race. In this astral area, until 1957, were also found all disembodied entities known as earthbound spirits. They refused, under their privilege, to use their free will in any manner whatsoever, to leave the earth, and mingled freely with the populace, often inciting those in physical bodies to commit deeds of violence. However, by November 1957, this sad and sorry tale of the fall of man had ended. Sanat Kumara had completed his work of restoration to a point where he was able to leave the earth and return to his home planet of Venus. With the aid of tens of thousands of individuals from other planets coming to the assistance of the earth at this time, and with renewed help from the angelic kingdom, which had been forced to virtually withdraw during the isolated years